Parliament last day nears, we discuss its law-making role. Tanzanians evacuated from Iran urge peace. Good evening, I am Faida Ngaga. You can also follow us live via our YouTube channel, TBC Online. Also, get all the latest news through our Instagram, Facebook and X pages at TBC Online. Prime Minister Kassim Majaliwa says President Samia Suluhu Hassan has been at the forefront to ensure national solidarity and unity and in achieving development goals in various sectors. He made the remarks earlier today when he was tabling the motion to conclude 12th Parliament activities in Dodoma, emphasizing that due to her strong leadership, various national and international institutions have recognized her contribution and vision with various awards, and also she has been awarded with honorary doctorate by various local and international universities.
Aidha, katika kipindi cha bunge la 12 nalotimisha uhai wake.
During the 12th parliamentary session, which is now concluding, a total of 5,259 primary questions, 18,075 supplemental questions, and 253 spontaneous questions were asked by a member of parliament and responded to by the government.
Furthermore, the Prime Minister insists that President Samia Suluhu Hassan has stood firm in developing strategic projects and social services, managing democracy, building the economy, and strengthening diplomacy.
Senior public officers at all levels are urged to prioritize the key areas outlined in the budget approved by Parliament. Additionally, these officers must ensure the completion of all unfinished projects and implement the promises made by leaders as directed in their respective areas.
On the other hand, the Prime Minister has also congratulated all government officials for implementing the plans and visions of President Samia Suluhu Hassan. As President Samia Suluhu Hassan is expected to address the 12th Parliament on Friday, the 27th of June this year, TBC News is in Dodoma to bring you all the latest through discussions and stories. In other news, the 12th Parliament, set to be dissolved tomorrow, June 27th, has enacted several significant laws, including the Tanzania Broadcasting Corporation Act and Political Parties Act, among others. To delve deeper into the impact of these laws on the country, we are joined by Dr. Belinda Chepchumba, a lecturer at the University of Dar es Salaam School of Law and an analyst in law and policy. Dr. Belinda in Dar es Salaam, first of all, how does the Political Parties Act promote both political stability and democratic freedoms, such as freedom of association and expression?
Thank you very much. The long-awaited reforms was made by the Political Parties Act. First of all, the amendment brought into function a discourse whereby all the political parties in Tanzania feel that they are involved in the process. And also, it provided a situation whereby we can have issues of freedom of expression and freedom of political parties. So it is one of the major reforms that was done, and that it has brought into place the major or the changes that were highly awaited pending the national election, which is around the corner. So we can applaud the Parliament, the 12th Parliament, for making these reforms and these changes, because it will give the general public to feel that they're part and parcel of the process in terms of elections. And it will also lead to accountability and transparency in the political process.
Also, there was the Tanzania Broadcasting Act. How does it enhance public service broadcasting in the country, and certainly even influence public service broadcasting across the continent?
Thank you for the question. The Tanzania Broadcasting Act has actually meant that the public interest is given precedence in terms of media, and it has also provided issues of diversification of information that is reaching the general public, because we felt that there was a time we felt that the TBC or this national broadcasting in various countries only provide information that is one-sided. But the enactment of this law has made diversification in terms of information that is reaching the general public. And now the general public feels that they are part and parcel of all the activities that is in the country. And also, the enactment of this law has brought about there will be an oversight authority to ensure that there is transparency and also accountability in terms of the information that is reaching the general public. There will be also issues of weighing the information to ensure that there is no biasness and there is transparency in terms of all the information that is reaching the general public. So I commended the Parliament for enacting this law because it will lead to a more conducive environment in terms of the information that is reaching the public. Because I know one of the human rights is right to correct information. We need to have correct information of what is going on in the country, information that is not one-sided, information that is not biased. So with the coming in of the TBC Act, it will ensure that the information reaching the general public is information that it is not one-sided and it is for the best of the country.
Now let's talk about also another act, the Personal Data Protection Act. With the enactment of this act, how prepared is Tanzania in terms of infrastructure and capacity to enforce data privacy rights?
Okay, the Personal Data Protection Act came into play in a time whereby we have issues of artificial intelligence. We have technological advancement. Every day we have changes in the technology. So the question is whether these laws are up to in terms of technological advancement. When you look at the Data Protection Act, it ensures that there is data protection. We have something called the right to be forgotten. When it comes to issues of our information in terms of data, when can we have a right to say that, no, I want this information retracted from the internet? We also have issues of defamation. We have issues of defamation. So this law comes into play and ensure that any information that is aired, you must get consent. And the consent must be free, it must be transparent, and all parties must be in consensus that the information that is outside, they have consented. So this law has come into play at a time when the law is developing, and we have issues of, there are so many current and emerging issues. So the law comes into play to ensure that human right is protected. Right to dignity, right to privacy is a human right, which must be protected. And this law is complementing a lot of laws that were passed in 2015. We have the Cybercrime Act, which was passed in 2015. This Cybercrime Act came at a time when there were changes in terms of technological advancement. So all these laws that we are seeing is to ensure that the privacy of all Tanzanians is guaranteed, and that there is no one who can suffer in terms of his or her information being outside without their consent.
Now, just as a general summation of what we have spoken about, what mechanisms do you think have been put in place generally to ensure that these laws are implemented transparently, but also the citizens are aware of their rights and obligations under them?
Thank you. One of the most important things is to know that as citizens, we have our rights, and we also have obligations that we must do. So one of the things that Tanzania is doing under the Ministry of Constitution, we have national campaigns, education campaigns to ensure that all Tanzanians are aware of these laws. For example, we have the Mama Samia Legal Aid campaign, which one of the aim of this campaign is to ensure that it provides legal education as well as legal aid to indigents. These are people who cannot afford this. So one of the commendable jobs is the issue of education. Education is very important, and we all know that ignorance of the law is never a defense. So there are so many campaigns in place. We have higher learning institutions. For example, University of Dar es Salaam, we have the Legal Aid Committee. We have all higher learning institutions have this Legal Aid Committee, and one of their functions is to educate the general public on these laws and also their rights. And they're informed that in case there is a breach of their rights, where can they go to seek recourse? Where can they go to get justice? So that is the first thing, education. Education is very important because a general public which does not have education is a very ignorant, and it's a very dangerous society. So education is important. Secondly, we have issues of oversight authorities. In order to ensure that these laws are implemented fully and they're fully enforced, we need to have authority, oversight authority, which is independent, to ensure that they can ensure that this institution respect and observe rule of law. So one of the important issues is to have an independent oversight authority that will ensure that the laws are respected and the country, there is obligation, they follow the obligation. Thirdly, which is it is very fundamental, is to ensure that we have a strong, independent judiciary, because the role of the judiciary is to interpret the law. And the law, there should be a check and balance. The judiciary should be able to check and ensure that these laws, not only are they obeyed, but they also reflect rule of law and that they safeguard the Constitution of the United Republic of Tanzania. We also have issues of curriculum. We can come up with school curriculums to ensure that legal knowledge is taught from primary education all the way to higher learning in institutions. This will help to ensure that all Tanzanians are aware of these laws, and it also gives them an opportunity to challenge in case there is a problem in the law. So there are so many campaigns, there are so many initiatives which the government is putting in place. We have programs to ensure that the general public is aware of these laws as they are implemented.
Thank you very much, Dr. Belinda from Dar es Salaam, for that deep analysis of the laws enacted by the 12th Parliament. In other news, a call has been made to Tanzanians to make the right decisions this October by electing members of parliament who will bring positive impact across various sectors and help steer the country toward sustainable development. The remarks were made by political experts and analysts praising the performance of the outgoing 12th Parliament, which is expected to conclude its activities tomorrow, expressing hope that the upcoming 13th Parliament will achieve even greater success to move forward the country.
Performance of the 12th Parliament has been outstanding, and I would like to look at into two aspects. Number one, in the economic governance issue, what the philosopher Edmund Burke taught us in 1778, when he argued that any parliament can be measured in two ways. One, in terms of the value of representation, that what you expect, what do people expect from that particular parliament in terms of policy making and legislation. And that has been a stellar performance during this 12th Parliament. But number two is in terms of the value, the cost of representation, and that is always associated with economic management at large. And let's tell our viewers that this Parliament has the best performance in terms of economic growth, in terms of how it has championed different policies at the macroeconomic level in support of the government, for the government to grow the economy. Between 2020 and 2025, our economy has expanded by almost $22 billion because when they came into office, it was around $63 billion, and now it is 85. Now, you cannot credit that to the government itself. I mean, to the executive itself. There is a big role in fact in economic governance. It's that the parliament always has to play more than 40% of everything that the government does. So you can accredit that to this parliament. The last thing I would like to talk about is in terms of how this parliament has been supportive in terms of local governments. And if you are to look at the numbers in terms of legislations and how they have allowed, for example, resources to trickle to those centers, I think the parliament has played a great role. And let's remember that when you talk about the people are in the local governments. They're not in the abstract to the central government.
There was a lot of number of laws which were amended through this parliament. More than 50 bills were passed through this parliament. And then we have also seen most of the, these big projects. We are talking about SGR. We are talking about this other construction of roads. We are talking about other things like investment in education. We are talking about the improvement in the health sector. So the government has done a lot, and it's because of the parliament. So the role of the parliament first is to ensure the government is accountable on its action. So whatever the government is planning in terms of to implement within the 5 years from the party manifesto, then they have to make sure that the government implement what they planned. So that follow-up through the parliamentary sessions.
First of all, let me thank the Speaker who is in charge of the Parliament. She did a very good job to the extent that she has been elected as President of the IPU, International Parliamentary Union. Also, the member parliaments, they've done a very great job during the debate on our port authority at that time. And I think it was a hot issue in Tanzania, which need a very stable parliament to deal with, which they did that one. Secondly, we had laws concerning elections, and I think they did very well. Somehow there are some ups and downs, but in general, the main issues have been discussed in the parliament and passed. And that's another very positive issue. Thirdly, as you see that our country has tried her best now to bring up the strategic plans, strategic development plans, and they were discussed in the parliament and well passed and well implemented also. If you see the railway, if you see the port and so on and so forth, Nyerere hydropower plant, those have been discussed in the parliament and passed.
This is TBC News coming to you live from Dodoma this week as President Samia Suluhu Hassan is expected to address the 12th Parliament on Friday, 27th of June this year. We'll bring you all the latest through discussions and stories. Tanzanians studying in Iran who have returned home have shared their testimonies on the importance of peace based on what they experienced while in Iran when Iran-Israel conflict broke out. Here's a report by Ismail Bugda, read to you by Teddy Mparanyanga.
The Iran-Israel conflict is not only affecting the citizens of the two countries, but also Tanzanians. Amid the war with endless missiles in Iran, some Tanzanians eyewitnessed the whole ordeal, and it felt in their hearts. Shazrina Kitutu is among the students studying in Iran, and here he begins by describing what they saw.
Leo unakuta mapigano yamelast kwa lisali moja, lakini kesho yanasogea masaa mawili.
These days could find that fighting would last for 1 hour, but the next day it would stretch to 2 hours, then 5 hours, and so on. In the days leading up to the ceasefire, the fighting intensified even more.
This is the man behind the master plan to unite Tanzanians in Iran and ensure they all return home safe and sound.
Baadaye nikapokea simu pia kutoka Oman, then tukazungumza, sasa tukaanza nikatengeneza mfumo wa kusajili majina.
Later, we received a call from Oman. I developed a system to register the names of students who were in Iran. The next day, we tried to establish communication with someone from Turkish embassy who was in touch with Tanzanian ambassador.
Here are some of the parents of the students sharing what they went through before the safe return. The Tanzanian students all urged Tanzanians to preserve peace and stability, as what they went through was really unpleasant.
Kwanza ilikuwa ngumu kidogo kwa sababu hatua ya kwanza.
It was difficult at first. I didn't tell his mother. I kept it from her. But eventually I realized it wasn't right. So I informed her about the situation where the children were living.
The group of 13 students from Iran is the second group of Tanzanians who have safely returned from Iran and Israel.
The Minister for Blue Economy and Fisheries in Zanzibar, Shaban Ali Othman, says Tanzania is endowed with a vast coastline, rich marine resources, and a growing blue economy. Factors that place the country at a critical turning point where adapting appropriate technology is essential to unlocking its full potential for sustainable development. He made the remarks during the high-level ministerial launch of the Tanzania Technology Needs Assessment, TNA, in Dar es Salaam, adding that the report provides a clear roadmap for identifying capacity gaps in key sectors such as fisheries, agriculture, marine resources, and the blue economy through technological solutions. Caramello has more.
The launch of the TNA report brings together senior government officials, ambassadors, and development partners to reflect on the findings and discuss strategies for implementation, collaboration, and investment in science, technology, and innovation. And here, Minister Shaban reaffirms the government's commitment to implement the report's recommendations, noting that they align with Tanzania's broader development vision.
The technology need assessment that we are launching today mark a significant achievement in our collective efforts to leverage the transformative potential of science, technology, and innovation for inclusive and sustainable development.
The United Nations resident coordinator ad interim in Tanzania, Shigeki Komatsubara, expresses the United Nations commitment to support the implementation of the report, while the managing director of the United Nations Technology Bank, Deodat Maharaj, emphasizes that technology is key to the sustainable development of African countries.
TNA arrives at a pivotal moment in Tanzania's development trajectory. And it's a proud moment too. It is closely aligned with national priorities, particularly in the agriculture and blue economy sectors, both vital engines for economic growth, poverty reduction, value creation, and sustainable livelihood. Let me affirm a collective commitment. The United Nations country team in Tanzania stands ready to support the implementation of TNA's recommendations.
Tanzania's journey towards a knowledge-driven, industrialized economy firmly rooted in science, technology, and innovation. The reality is that the least developed countries' regular rate of economic growth is good, but not good enough.
The Deputy Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Livestock and Fisheries, Dr. Edwin Paul Mhede, extends his appreciation to the United Nations Technology Bank for least developed countries and to the International Seabed Authority for their financial support in strengthening Tanzania's technological capacity.
The United Nations Technological Bank, we want to appreciate, these are the words from Madam Kijaji, we want to appreciate that you are coming to join Tanzania, for that matter, to further improve or strengthen our existing capability. We are not, I have to be very clear, we are not having we have got no technology. We do. But for us to improve further, we need to borrow what has been on the ground and use the external frontiers to improve and catch up all other create prosperity for our people.
Today, technological stakeholders have met in Dar es Salaam for the high-level ministerial launch of the Tanzania Technological Needs Assessment, an initiative that aims at identifying development challenges that requires technological solutions in order to achieve the Tanzania's development visions as well as the Sustainable Development Goals. Reporting from Dar es Salaam, this is Caroline Maleo, TBC News.
The Deputy Rector, Academic Research and Consultancy of Dar es Salaam Institute of Technology, DIT, Professor Ezekiel Amri, says Tanzania has made major strides in science and technology, and aligning the progress made with country's education system is imperative. Professor Amri made the remarks during the opening ceremony of Tracer Study Workshop, which involves educational stakeholders, employers and academicians earlier today in Dar es Salaam. Peter Mganga has more.
AI is significantly impacting education systems globally, calling for major reforms in curriculums, teaching methods, and career guidance. Here, Professor Ezekiel Amri emphasizes proper use of the technology among university students.
Through improvement of curricula reflecting the technological cutting-edge technologies, we ensure that our curricula are highly improved to meet the required demand, cutting-edge technology in the various fields. Every aspect of technological changes we have today ultimately will lead to the incorporation or use of artificial intelligence. So there is nothing to worry about artificial intelligence. Only what is needed to ensure that students, they clearly understand the use of it in a proper manner, use of artificial intelligence. And we have already incorporated part of it in our various curricula, how to use it.
On the other hand, Dr. Ambwene Mtafia, with the coordinator of Treasure Study from Dar es Salaam Institute of Technology, DIT, says the workshop explores further reforms needed in curricula and soft skills to build students so as they meet the demands in the international market.
The employers, they are thinking, they are complaining that the students who are going there, they don't have the skills. So what we are trying, especially at DIT, is to make sure that the students get the right skills. And we have come up with a lot of innovation, like what we call the teaching factory concept. The teaching factory concept is the one that brings the reality, the actual things in the labor market at school. So students formulate companies, students do whatever they can do, and they design things as if they are into the market while they are still studying that case.
Artificial intelligence has the potential to significantly enhance the development of soft skills in African students by providing personalized learning experience, facilitating collaboration, and fostering critical thinking. Peter Mganga, TBC News, Dar es Salaam.
Now from Dar es Salaam, let's fly to Arusha, whereby senior leaders in communications sector and postal services in Africa are meeting in Arusha to explore new systems and way forward of these services in digital era. Addressing the gathering of the Administrative Council of Pan-African Postal Union, PAPU, the Deputy Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Information, Communication and Information Technology, Nicholas Mkapa, says it is imperative to incorporate science and technological advancements in postal services.
This meeting comes at a pivotal time as the continent navigates both long-standing challenges and emerging opportunities in the postal sector. This sector has experienced a dramatic change due to changes in customer taste and preferences in accessing postal and communication services. We as leaders and experts in this sector have to build a sense of transformation that will sustain the sector and meet the aspirations of our customers.
More PAPU Secretary General Dr. Sifundo Moyo says postal sector has a critical responsibility of uniting African countries.
Once considered an analog relic in today's digital age, the post has been reinventing itself as an enabler of e-commerce, a gateway to financial inclusion, a channel for government services, and most importantly, its trusted presence in communities often left behind by the digital revolution.
Universal Postal Union representative Marjan Oswald urges African countries to explore investment opportunities emanating from the postal sector. And that's all we have for tonight from Dodoma. Remember, tomorrow we will still be here live from Dodoma. I am Faitha Ngaga. Good night.